久しぶりです. Sorry, I'm back again. Pretty much in the space of a few seconds or minutes or with my memory, what the hell do I know? Could it be years for all I fucking know? Then again, if it was years and I'm sitting here in the same room wearing a t-shirt, that doesn't make any sense. I don't make any sense. Oh man. Okay, please give me tips on how to intro a video better than how I intro videos. How can I say this? Okay, so a few months back, round about July onwards into round about July until August, I was suffering from depression. No joke. I actually had quite severe depression. It wasn't the case where I would take pills, but I was serious. I was considering therapy, and I was thinking, well, maybe I do need pills, or maybe I have to think of, myself, look after myself better than I had been doing previously, and to have my life here kind of go from a flip 180, Tony Hawk reference there, to essentially just, from great, from really good to not what I expected in the slightest. I didn't expect at any point in my time here to be feeling the way I felt, and it's still kind of, it's not pleasant to remember, and I don't like to associate depression with my time here in Japan. Japan was meant to be, and is still meant to be, and is right now, the place I've always seen myself and wanted to see myself, and I'm seeing myself in this video. I had things to look forward to, finishing my first semester at my previous job, my birthday coming up, meeting up with friends, travelling, and a series of, setbacks, big setbacks, one after the other, like boom, 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 really hit me for 26, because I'm now 26, wow, I'm old. I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't know how to deal with it, because it was the last thing I expected, to be fair. I've gone through rough patches, and, everyone does, and I do more than most, to be honest, but this was wholly different, and it coming at a time when it did, and it being where I am right now in my life in Japan, seeking out a career in teaching and whatnot, I was really I didn't know what to do, and I, essentially I broke down, so for me it was very difficult to deal with, because I'm in Japan essentially by myself. I've got no great grasp of the language. To this point, I'm unemployed. I'll get back to that in a couple of minutes. I was struggling to see the positive in everyday life, because I didn't have a purpose to, getting up in the morning. My day was just raw and just filled with just nothing. I couldn't find things of what to do, or wanted to do things to fill out the time. I thought, well, I feel like I'm back in the UK in a sense where there's no fulfillment. There's no reason for me to be here, or to feel like, I can be happy about this, or I can feel positive about this, or, I'm doing something with my life, because to that point, and to a degree to this point, I've not really felt like I've done so much to kind of be proud of in a sense of work and, career-wise, job-wise, earning some money, being independent and, looking after myself. It's not panned, and it didn't pan at that point to the way I'd hoped, or I'd perceived, the fact being, I was told that I wasn't wanted by my school anymore, and by my previous company. They decided together that I wasn't right for them, and without consulting me, they decided to cut ties with me, just boom, boom, buds, finish, I signed up for 12 months, and after 4, they cut me loose, and, I'd up sticks and moved from the UK, took all my money, my savings, all my things, uprooted myself to come here, to learn a new language, understand a new culture, also, to start a new career, to do something of worth that would show that it's viable for me to be in this country. But I wasn't given enough time, I feel. Maybe I could have done more, should have done more, but I feel like I was probably just kind of tossed aside in many ways. So so that was like strike one. Strike two being, at this point, I then, like, I didn't have anything to fall back on. So I was thinking, shit, like, I've only got so much money and I've still got to pay rent, I've got to pay bills, I've got to pay phone contract, food, living. I don't want to die, don't want to starve, don't want to be dehydrated or anything like that, So how can I support myself? And, a big kind of clincher for me coming here was I could be independent instead of having to, depend on other people. I could depend on myself. And, I thought, yeah, this is it. This is my chance to kind of stake a claim for myself and experience the year abroad, and this could be the making of me, right? I thought. I still think, but being hit like that with unemployment when you're not expecting it, and you're thinking, oh, well, I've signed a 12-month contract, I expect to see that out. Being given somewhat, false reassurances, and whatnot, hit me a lot, hit me really hard, really did. And I didn't know what to do. Like, I spent months looking for this job, getting this job, looking forward to this job, quitting my previous job to start this job, and then suddenly, after not more than a semester, essentially spring into summer, I've been deemed surplus requirements. So I'm back on the job search grind. So, that was the start of things, and from there it kind of spiraled. Is that a spiral? Is that more like a that's a dance move, but let's call that a spiral. Secondly, I guess just the kind of fact that you feel, or that you feel, no, not that you feel, this isn't really about me, but I feel, the way I felt. So I felt really alone. Like, of course I love Japan, I love the people, the culture, the language, it all appeals to me, and of course, being not very well versed in the language makes communication difficult. So I didn't have many people to fall back on. People that I thought I could fall back on, I didn't have my back. Not going to name any names, but I was let down, and I still feel let down by most people. I expected, being here on my own, I could count on certain people, and then I couldn't then, and I can't now, and that hurts me to a degree because I'm a very people-oriented person. So I assumed, these difficulties that I'm facing, I wasn't really given adequate support from anybody. Like, I just felt like, wow, I've been shunned, now I have to kind of deal with this on my own. Like that, this being the first point in my life where I've had to kind of do that. Sad as it seems, I could always rely on my parents, on my friends back home, but here I couldn't say the same. So I would just, go by day to day, essentially for a long time. I would just kind of feel like, well, this is shit. Life is shit. Today is shit, tomorrow will be shit, yesterday was shit, my life is shit. And don't get me wrong, of course I understand the position I'm in, Right now I'm unemployed, I am, but I'm still able to live in Japan, able to travel and to seek out other opportunities, meet people, do things, have new experiences. That's still something I can do. So that's the one positive, that I could always fall back on. But to be honest, I came here to have a job, to sustain a life here, and for myself, and to kind of kick on and, hopefully, stay here for the long term. But without a prospect of a job to keep me in employment and keep me earning money, keep me kind of viable to stay in this country, as a foreign resident, I was starting to find it really hard to kind of understand, well, how long will I really be here for? So would it be a case where I may as well pack it in now and just go home? So that was probably strike two. I was starting to doubt my position, my usefulness, my validity of being here. So that really hurt me a lot. It's recording. It's still recording. Okay, it's recording. Then strike three. Going back to my loneliness phase. I'd been seeking friendships or just a relationship in general, like I feel that, and I still believe that being with someone, having someone I can kind of see on the regular, who can kind of be that shoulder, not to cry on. I'm a man, I'm a man, so but like just to kind of have that kind of support, to know you have that support anytime, anywhere. I didn't have that really here, not that I was really actively seeking it as such, but I got hurt by a few people here who I thought I could rely on. I went on a few dates, didn't really pan out, as it does, but again, having had to deal with my sudden loss of my job and my confidence, I really wanted to kind of have this kind of support, this pillar, should I say? Don't know what a better metaphor to use, not even a metaphor. So to then feel even more alone and not have anyone to kind of confide in with anything or anything like that. I mean, I have people back home, but it's different talking on the phone to being in person, having that person's kind of company and being able to kind of talk and just keen advice and things like that. And fair enough, I was lonely. I really wanted to be with someone because I've been single for 7 to 8 months at this point. So, I assumed if I've got somebody who can kind of be a constant in my life at this point, then that makes things better because I wouldn't feel so alone, and I'd feel like, yeah, it's a start. And I guess I'm a person who relies on people quite a lot. I shouldn't really, and I'm trying to kind of shy away from that and just kind of break out on my own a little bit more. But I felt if I have like positive kind of advice and long conversations and just time to spend with people, I could take my mind off things. I could, just enjoy being social and feeling more positive and just more talkative and just more like myself, which I couldn't do being cooped up in a 4 walls in my apartment by myself, with constant sounds of that's cars, by the way, because I'm on the main road, fuck's sake. So to then be rebuffed by a few girls I dated, or assumed I dated, who didn't kind of made it obvious, not made it obvious, they ghosted me, and that in turn kind of made me lose my confidence in myself as a person who could be with someone. You're gonna think, oh well, you're just making a lot of issues about nothing compared to other people, and people have these same problems. But for me, they were coming like boom, 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 thick and fast. I couldn't really like recover from my first instance of dealing with my unemployment, to then my loneliness, to then my kind of low confidence. It was all just a whirlwind. It took a lot for me, even now. Like I have the same, I have days when I'm like that, same kind of situations and kind of doubts and whatnot. But it's getting better. I mean, with time, things heal. That's really corny, but it's true. I mean, but I had to deal with that on my own. But given time, when I kind of saw perspective a bit more, and I understood, well, there's no use really feeling the way I'm feeling because I've still got time on my visa. I can still seek employment. I can still potentially get a renewal. I can still stay here on the long term. I'm a native speaker of English. There's a lot of them here, but not as many as Japanese, of course. So I'm in demand. Even me, like I can offer something to someone somewhere. Regarding English teaching. Seeing the positives of, look, not many foreigners, not many people in general, like get the opportunity to come abroad, to work, to travel, to live. I'm getting the opportunity, and I've got the opportunity, and I'm living the opportunity now. So for me, I have to look past the negatives, as hard as it can be, and still is in a lot of instances for me, and just kind of from there push on, because even with no job, even with my low confidence, even with like not being where I want to be right now in a lot of aspects of my life,